We're back with more Just for Laughs.
Well, you know what? When I started doing stand-up, and I got involved with this thing called the Blue Collar Comedy Tour, which was Jeff Foxworthy, Bill Engvall, and Larry the Cable Idiot, and myself. And actually, some of the first cool things that happened for me in my career happened out of Montreal.
That's not apple juice. Ron White.
Thank you very much. It's great to be back in Montreal. One of the best backdrops for a debacle I've ever seen in my life. I went out last night. I got so drunk. I woke up this morning and somebody had shit my pants. I don't know who it was, but I know he eats corn. I'll try to tell you this story. This happened on Tuesday. I was at PetSmart going home in the car with my wife and 2 dogs, and she says, I got to stop at the bank. I'll be 5 minutes, but there's no such thing as 5 minutes. And I know the dogs need to pee, and at our bank there's one piece of manicured lawn, and it has 2 signs that both say, no dogs. So I took my dogs over there. This guy comes waddling out of the bank with a big scowl on his face, and he goes, the sign says no dogs. I said, the sign's wrong. Sign should say 2 dogs. I flew here from Los Angeles, and I always avoid the self-service line, and they were nice enough to fly me first class. And the line was long in first class, and there was nobody at that kiosk, and I don't really know how to use those things, but I opted for it. And I get over there, and it's just a kiosk with a computer terminal, and I don't want to touch it because it's got grease and dirt and what I can only pray to Jesus is meringue. But it works pretty good. You swipe your card through there, and up pops a diagram of the plane, and it shows all the seats on the plane, and it shows which ones are occupied, so you can choose your own seat, and that's almost a great idea. What would make that a great idea is if there was a photograph of the person sitting in that chair, and about a 5-minute bio clip telling you a little bit about them and what their breath smells like. Because I pick my chair, and I'm in first class, and I walk into the cabin, and I see the guy next to me is this gigantic, huge, I know I'm heavy, but I'm not a gigantic, this is a 550-pound gigantic. Part of him is in my chair. And I don't know if it's part of him I can sit on. But I have a tip for the morbidly obese. Once you get to 550 pounds, stay home and go for the record. So I tour all the time. I'm from the United States. I consider myself a patriot. I met my first wife during the Vietnam War. She's from this quaint little village outside of Phnom Penh. I can never pronounce that word. Ottawa. I love to tour with my wife. I only have sex with my wife. I've been married 3 times, and that has not always been my policy. But I find a lot of comfort in having one sex partner because she knows what I like, and I know what she won't do. It turns out there's a list she won't do, and the first thing on the list is talk about the list. It's hard to figure out what to get her for her birthday. Last year I got her something with a cord. Not good. This year I got her breast implants, and I've never been a big fan of plastic surgery, but I got to admit I've had a lot of fun playing with these things. I haven't given them to her yet. I just keep them on my tour bus and just rub them in my face. I'm glad they clean up easy. What? I'm just glad they're not made out of corduroy. That's all I'm saying. I'd have to have them Scotch guarded. I find it a little ironic that the product I use to keep from ruining my sofa should I spill my drink on it is actually called Scotch Guard. Sometimes things just work out perfect, don't they? Yeah, I'm looking for a product that's going to protect my sofa if I spill my scotch on it. What do you got? We've got Scotch Guard. Let's go with that. You got Vodka Guard? My wife, she's a very talented designer. We live in this gigantic house that you guys bought us. And she's really talented, but she can't go to sleep at night unless every single thing in this gigantic house is in the exact spot she meant for it to be. Now, before I married her, she told me she was anal, and I was like, great! It turns out there's two kinds of anal, and she's the wrong one. We were watching CNN the other night, and they were doing a story about NASA and about that astronaut lady that went crazy and tried to kill that other woman. Really funny. And it wasn't just about that, but it was about NASA and how they're just not as thorough as you'd think they would be, and they're always backing up and covering their tracks, which they are. And I guess because so many women are going into outer space, they've just allotted $10 million for a study to see if there are any dangers in a woman suffering from PMS to have her menstrual cycle in zero gravity. I'm like, hell yeah, there are dangers. In a weightless environment, the psycho bitches can fly. Thanks for playing along. I hope you enjoy.